Hey guys, happy Sunday. I'm a little bit less early today because I was just editing a video that I'm going to release tomorrow. I hope everyone's doing well. How are we doing today? Oh, and let me know if you can hear me, please, because I don't trust my technology ever. Making margaritas. Yay, wonderful. All right, we have about 1 more minute and then we'll get started. Is there a game to? Oh, Chiefs. I don't know anything about sports, my goodness. Hi there. Hello, everyone. I'm going to try to do something different today because I end up during every single live, I end up being so behind. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading the most recent comments. So if I skip anyone, just send me an email. I do apologize in advance, but in order to keep up with everyone, that's what I'm going to be doing. And it is 4:30 Eastern already. Hello, everybody. Oh, you just filed your BOC3 and UCR. I'm so glad. Yeah, that video has been helping a lot of people. I'm always happy to hear that. Cowboys. Yeah, see, I don't know anything about sports. I did. Hi, Tony. Hi, Gray Dog. Hi, Dritan. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Pronunciation is not my strong suit. Hi, Wu Wei. I'm good. I'm good. Surviving slowly. Some days are better than others, I suppose. How are you guys doing? How are you doing with the market? It's kind of crazy out there, for sure. Do I ever think of moving to a state that has less taxes than in California? Of course, yeah. I don't want to stay in this state. The only reason I'm here is because my family is here, and family is important. But I think there will come a time where I'm going to move, and I'm sure some of my family members will follow suit. I have a very hard time. How do I explain? I don't know how to explain it. I have a hard time. Family always comes first. So I will do what's best for the family before anything else. And sometimes that's not the best business decision, I would say. And this is one of them. I just have a really big fear of leaving my family and moving somewhere else. But yeah, there will come a time. I'm not staying here, that's for sure. Thank you, Transport King. Yeah, email me if I skip your question. Let me just close my editor here so that I don't have to look at it anymore. Hi, hello. Yeah, the market is bad right now. The market is bad right now. And I feel like just by the comments that I've been getting, I've been such a bearer of bad news lately. Yeah, I think I'm starting to bring people down with the video. So the next video I'm making, or the one I made that I'm going to upload tomorrow, it's actually going to be, it was inspired by a comment that a person left. And at first I completely misunderstood them. So I kind of grew horns. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. But then when they explained it to me, I think it's going to be a little bit more positive, or a little bit more something that you can use in your operations. Texas. Yeah, I used to want to really move to Texas, but after talking to Transport King, after talking to my own husband, and after trying to figure out where to move, we realized that, yeah, there are too many people from California moving to Texas, and I want to get away from the mentality here. Where's my accent from? I'm half Ukrainian, half Georgian, but English is my first language. I went to an American school from pretty much kindergarten. Surviving. I think we're all surviving, Wu Wei. I don't think anyone is partying it up at the moment. Car hauling, Carol. Wow. Yeah, this is something we were thinking about, but haven't decided to do it yet. I'm very curious about it. I heard like certain things like car hauling, you get money on the spot when you deliver. Is that true? Thank you, Hernando. Hi, Alexander from Ukraine. Yeah, for sure. Fridays are hard to book loads because all the carriers are panicking and they're booking whatever they can at the cheapest price, and the brokers see it and they start pushing those prices down. Fridays are difficult. They are really like the Hunger Games. What do I think of the Cali ban on diesel semis in 2035? I mean, I think California is making ridiculous decisions all around, especially when it comes to the trucking industry. Hi, Jeremy. I'm so glad you were able to join. You're in Gypsum, Colorado, trying to get to Alabama by next weekend. You know what? Tomorrow's video will help you. I'll just show how I do it when I end up in a dead market, what I do before booking a load to the dead market. So I'm going to let the video speak for itself because I think it's going to help a lot of people. In reefer market, KTL. So reefer market, it looks like the Midwest is the place to be, and then the Pacific Northwest. If you're able to stay between those two, just going from Midwest to Pacific Northwest and back again, then great. If there are the lanes that allow it. More often than not, I think the biggest problem in today's market in general is the fact that those relatively better places are so spread out that every single person is forced to end up in a bad market at one point or another that is costing them an arm and a leg. So if you're able to stay Midwest to Pacific Northwest, yeah, you'll be in a better, relatively better position than others. Tony, I agree with you. It is being honest. Those videos, I mean, I'm not going not going to say they're pleasant videos to make because the reality is I hate being the bearer of bad news, and that's what I have been for the past 4 years, no matter what, because of how I think. And when people tell you like you're bringing us down, it gets to me. Of course, it gets to me. But yeah, the reality is it's the truth, and it's there to benefit. Mm-hmm. Mm. 1,600 for 1,000 miles. Yeah, that's $1.60. Is that a dry van load or a reefer load? Flatbed? Dry van market, Tim, is a little bit more challenging. I would say it's the lowest paid equipment type at the moment, and it's a little bit more challenging to find those better markets. There are very few of them. Yeah, Friday's brokers are cheap for sure. Cash on delivery. That's what, oh, there we have. Yeah, Carol, that's what I heard. Cash on delivery with car haulers. That's interesting. How much are you getting on average rate per mile? I'm so curious. Oh, Ross, you as well. Yeah. What is the average rate per mile right now for car haulers? Hi, Armand. Cali to Texas. See, I'm already behind. Cali to Texas. Took, yeah. Yeah, California. What was it? Reefer? Codge? Everybody's back to wearing a mask. Really? I haven't seen a single person transport king in California. No one wears a mask here, which is weird. California was the first one to put a mask, or before there were masks, when everyone was buying them, people were wearing the weirdest stuff. Some people were wearing diapers on. It was terrible. Oh, I remember that. Uh, Surviving isn't the best. Nah, I mean, surviving is surviving, right? We're all surviving, actively surviving, trying to make changes every day. Dedicated lane. Drive-in. Got it. Um, what do I think will happen to the market in the near future? I've been staring at freight waves and I've been watching that rejection rate go down and down and down. Today is the first day where it made a turn back up a little bit. But the reality is, in my opinion, from everything I have read, from the things I know about the seasonality of the market, I don't see any significant change happening until quarter 2 of next year. Until then, I think it's going to be just trying to survive the current conditions. This is just my opinion. Bashir, 100%. Yeah, this industry is very, very cyclical. It's cyclical and seasonal, so everything will turn around eventually. The only thing is, I have a feeling that especially those that got into the market in 2021, they think that when it does turn around, it's going to turn around to the levels of 2021, which is not the case. That was a weird, weird year to our benefit as carriers, of course, but that was a very strange year. But it will turn around where it's going to be more manageable. The question is, when are the diesel prices going to turn around? Because right now they're really kicking us all in the butt. Book a load from TQL. I've booked a load from the TQL load board in the beginning when I was just starting, not recently, but in the beginning when I was just starting, I would use their load board because they were pretty much the only big broker that would work with a new authority. So yeah, I used to bid on the loads there and I used to keep them updated through their system and everything. Yeah, Washington to Ohio with the reefer fuel is taken over. Yeah, that's the thing. See, if you Washington to Ohio seems like a pretty decent lane considering, I mean, relative to others from what I have seen for a reefer. But then you have to consider the fact that fuel on the West Coast is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Conestoga to South Dakota. I'm not familiar with Conestogas. We don't operate them. I know that for Conestogas, there are not as many loads as for flatbeds, if it's Conestoga specific. But South Dakota, from everything that I have experienced with flatbeds, is that it's a pretty tough market. There are few loads there and they come out very slowly. But if you wait, you might find something short to get you out for a more or less okay rate per mile. I use the RTS fuel card. Yeah. Yeah, Transport King. JB Hunt is horrible. I don't like JB Hunt. They're terrible. Treat the illness with what's that and what illness? I'm not ill. I just have a yeah, but that comes from something else. It's not an illness. We have seen $1.70. Wow. So even the car hauling market, I thought there $8,000 a week is pretty decent, but I thought the rate per mile would be like $4, a dollar cent. So it's also getting hit. Hi, Adam. I'm good. How are you? Oh my God, Codge. JB Hunt actually blocked us too. My original company that's for 4 years old because they can't find our cargo insurance provider on AM Best. Yeah, it's okay. They can do whatever they want. They're cheap as crap anyway, and it's going to blow up in their face eventually, someday. Got it, Ross. $3 minimum, $4. Oh, I miss those $4 per mile loads. Hi, happenstance, Heidi. Hi, dissident. Thank you for your support. Enjoy the sports or football. Sorry. Hell Pike, it will another 20%. Yeah, I've been really, really, I mean, I've been kind of overwhelmed lately with work, so I haven't had a chance to really get back to people on email. I'll have to check that out. Thank you, though. I'll be happy to look at it. Why am I thinking that quarter two it will be better? Because capacity is leaving, and because quarter one of every year is a dead season. So the only hope is that the soonest it's going to turn around is in quarter two, and by that time, enough capacity will leave. This is the only thing. But in terms of diesel prices, that I don't know. I'm just talking about the rate per mile increasing. In terms of your guys' net income and how it's going to be affected, that's something we have to also consider diesel prices in this case, of course. And with diesel prices, I don't know. Right now, they're absolutely terrible and they're eroding everyone's bottom line. Yeah. Jonathan, right now oh, you're doing Amazon. I'm not familiar with any other companies, but does anyone know? Are there any other companies where you can do drop and hook and be home every single day? I'm not a fan of Amazon, to be honest, because they've always had the cheapest rates. If you compare it to the load board and Amazon, I was personally not a fan. Oh my goodness, Tasha. Yeah, insurance is crazy right now. Everywhere insurance is going up. I was I consider myself very lucky that our insurance went down, but barely. 4 years of no accidents, no claims, nothing. And it just barely went down. But insurance is crazy. And again, I'll repeat myself. One of the insurance agents I was talking to who was working on a quote, he said that if you want decent insurance, move the company to Colorado. Apparently, that's where the insurance rates are the lowest. Hi, Swag. I'm good. How are you? Oh, Tony, I don't know. That part I'm not sure about. If I were to pay it, like if I had the ability to pay attention before what happened during that time, then I would have a better answer. I am so sorry about my throat. It's terrible, but I'm not sick. I just have another issue. mm. Wu Wei, I love that you brought this up. The law of attraction. What you think is what you get. Now, a lot of people will probably think I'm a nutso, but I 100% believe in the law of attraction because I'm prone to being like, I'm prone to focusing on the bad just to prepare myself for the bad. And the bad usually happens. But there are days, like Friday was one of those days where I completely changed my perspective and it was a fantastic day. So I do believe in it. I do believe in it. The hardest part is actually being able to get out of your element and trying to attract the good. um, let's see. CH Robinson, I have never worked with them. I never will because they never negotiated, not even in the best times. So I refuse to work with brokers like that. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Um, thank you, George. TQL got fake location. Oh, yeah, TQL is known for when they post a load on the load board, it's going to be it will say from one location, it's the other. You know who else is horrible? I think it's called online freight services. They will post a load that picks up actually like 200 to 300 miles away. They're notorious for that. Um, Hi, Roderick. Well, 2020. Yeah, like I said, 2024, the soonest I think we're going to potentially start feeling a change for the better is going to be quarter two of 2024. Hi, Elise. Hi, Trucking with Cliff. In Germany, even cruel. Yeah, I know in Europe, the diesel prices are absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. Thank you, Rita Wood. I love it too. It's really cozy. Let's see. It's a multitask Sunday. Oh, it's football again this Sunday, huh? I'm picking like perfect days to hold these lives. I do apologize, guys. I have to take a look at when the Super Bowl is going to be. I believe it's in February, right? Next year. I need to make sure my live is not done. Yeah, Bashir. Yeah, insurance, personal insurance, I know it goes up like crazy. I take care of, I mean, I'm the one who renews and everything for a lot of members of my family, their insurance, and every single year it's crazy. It goes up by like $100, $150. Who will be dealing with brand new authority, which is 1 month old? TQL usually does. Uber used to, I'm not sure if they do right now. Convoy used to, I believe now they require some more experience, but TQL, I believe, yes, but not for all loads. If you have a reefer and you want to haul ice cream at -20, they will require you to do several loads before that. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate the support. Uh, Healthy Halloween snacks. My cooking skill. You know what, Tony? That's a great question. I wish I could. There are days when I absolutely love cooking. Now, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm an excellent cook. I make really yummy things. But the thing is, I need to be in the right state of mind in order to actually do something. Because if I am down or if my mind is busy with work, do it. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I should make a YouTube channel on how to do keto, but in a yummy way. Because honestly, at the end of the day, the thing that makes me the most happy is the food in front of me. Like when I'm eating, I'm happy. Anyone else feel that way? Food is good. I hate shopping. I don't need clothes. I mean, I'm not one of those people who likes to buy stuff. Food. If I have good food, I'm happy. And a good book. I'm reading the what is his name? Walter Isaacson, Elon Musk biography right now. It's super interesting. Where was I? I promised I'd be keeping up with everything, and now I'm completely behind again. Uh, yeah, Michael. Hi. Oof. Yeah, the market is definitely not perfect right now. Jason, excellent question. As a new trucker, do you recommend getting with a big carrier or a small shop? So in this market, I have never had or I have never worked for another carrier, right? I've never driven a semi truck. I don't have a CDL. I just run back office. But the way I would look at it is you have to think about it in two different ways. A small carrier will usually, from what I know and from our operations, we treat everyone like family pretty much. You know, you're not just a number, what you say matters, and we treat you like family. But at the same time, something to keep in mind is in this current situation, small carriers are more likely to shut down. This is the reality. Large carriers, they treat you like a number. They can cheat you. I mean, small carriers can do the same thing, but large carriers, they have a system in place already. They don't care about you at all. And you're just someone who is going to bring them cash. I mean, it's horrible, but this is true. This is what large carriers think like, but they are a little bit more solid. So that's something to, if it was me, I would go for a small carrier personally. I would never be able to work somewhere where I'm treated like a tool that is there to make money. Even though, yeah, I can't. That's my opinion. Uh, Flatbed market. So flatbed market, I only became familiar with recently in around April of 2023. I actually never really paid attention to it that much before because we were not flatbed carriers. Last year, it was really good. Last quarter, oh yeah, no, I remember we did have a flatbed last quarter for a short while. Yeah, it went down to crap at the end of the year. And I believe it does that every season. I mean, every single year. At the end of the year, flatbed kind of goes down. Potato head, let's go. Thank you guys. Uh thanks, Fraud. Thank you, George. Get my wife involved in the business side from the bottom up. Ross, the dispatching course. So it's a pre-recorded course, that dispatching course. Now there's a video from what I calculated. And yeah, it teaches everything from start to finish. It teaches you how to negotiate. It teaches seasonality. It teaches how to read those contracts, how to figure out the rate per mile. It teaches how to deal with issues, but it's mostly for dispatching. The thing that I think makes it different from other courses is I teach from experience. That's why I'm not making a broker course. The carrier course is more for someone who is looking to open a trucking company because that teaches you everything from start to finish in order, what you have to have and what you have to do in order to open a trucking company, and then how to be compliant. Yeah, but both are taught from experience. Saddlebrook. I've never heard of Saddlebrook. California locally for reefer. I wouldn't recommend it personally. There was a time where staying in California with a reefer was a really good idea. I don't recommend it right now because whatever money you make in California, you're going to give away in fuel prices. The fuel is getting up to $7. I mean, diesel is getting up to $7 here. It's insane. Yeah. Almost. Yeah, paying off your truck is going to definitely help because those interest rates, man, and monthly expenses and this and that. Jose, what's a good rate from Michigan to Arizona next week? It depends on your equipment type. But yeah, when I look at the freight market, I look from the sense of I look at the overall freight market, right? Because the overall freight market, it gives us an idea of what the good, relatively better markets are. But in terms of lane specific, those change so quickly. I would recommend looking at the load board for that equipment type just to see what is being offered. Oh, I'm so glad, Larry. I always love hearing. I've been getting a lot of comments lately that the weekly market update and forecast videos have helped people increase their gross income. And that just makes me extremely happy because I know it helped us and I know that it can help if you really follow it. So, yeah, I always love reading that. James G. I read this guy. What is this? This isn't football. I mean, yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know anything about football. Let's see, I just skipped. Damn it. Happenstance, you're the same way in the kitchen. Yeah, you have to be in a certain like space in order to be able to cook. And unfortunately, lately, I mean, we all feel it, right? Lately, we're all in a space which is not like we're always thinking. I'm not going to say that we're all upset, although I'm sure a lot of us are, but we're all in a space where we're trying to find ways to get our businesses moving forward or to stay afloat, that there's no time for creativity like cooking. But yes, I agree, Al, food is comfort. That's the one thing that makes me happy. When I am sad or when I'm overworked, food. When I'm pissed off, gym. I love going to gym when I'm really, really angry because the trainer that I go to, I mean, she does classes. Why am I talking about this? But yeah, she does group classes. And when she's warming up, she's like, you're punching. And I go, I love it. um, Interstate travel crew. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I agree with you too. Truth hurts sometimes, but as I said in that video, if we have a distorted view of reality, we're going to make bad decisions based on that distorted view. We have to know what the reality is in order to be able to understand how to move forward. Flatbed or step deck, which one gets more and better paid loads on today's market? So I'm going to tell you how absolutely ridiculous I am, and you guys will learn from my mistakes. In terms of flatbed versus step deck, I have not seen any significant price differences, but I did something very stupid. We took a step deck, 53 foot step deck, without ramps and without load levelers. So finding loads for that damn thing is very, very difficult because if you want a flatbed load, they will tell you, no, it doesn't fit on a step deck. You need a flatbed. If you want a step deck, most of them want ramps. So you're forced to look for those loads that go on the flatbed or step deck, and that limits everything. So now we have to look into getting those ramps. But see, we learn. We live and we learn. And it skipped. The general trucker. Have you heard of Carrier 411? Yes, carriers get on Carrier 411 with or without reason lately. It's horrific. In terms of if they leave you a bad review, guys, can you remind me? This is something that I either keep forgetting or I don't know the answer to. What do you do if a broker leaves a bad review about a carrier that they never even worked with? How do you get that review off? Can someone help the general trucker, please? Thank you. And let's see, where am I? Volodymyr, how do I do my research? For the most part, I use Sonar, which is a subscription to the system, and that is $8,000 a year. That's my biggest thing. I read Freight Waves every day, several times a day, and I read just news about the economy, the general economy, and how everything is tied together. But usually the way I do my research is I'll read something catches my eye, and then I start taking it apart. Like I start researching every part of the topic I'm interested in to see how it fits together. Do I offer dispatch training? I do have a pre-recorded course for dispatching. Yes, it's on my website. What do I think of reefer? You've been doing dry van for 10 years. I think with reefers, you're going to get a better rate per mile, but you have to also remember that your expenses will increase because the reefer runs on diesel. So yeah, that's my thought of a reefer. Hi, Kaiden. Do you ever have to deal with cranky drivers as a dispatcher? Yeah, of course. As someone who, now I don't consider myself a dispatcher really, because I don't dispatch anyone except for my own fleet. But yeah, dispatching is something that I do on a daily basis. And of course, as a dispatcher, you are not just someone who finds loads, right? You're also the psychologist and the therapist who listens and gives advice or whatnot, just listens. Yeah, of course. We're all human. Everyone gets cranky. Should be a strong produce season in 2024. Here's hoping the weather allows for it. And again, I skipped. I'm so sorry, guys. Again, if I miss your question, email me, please. Speak free. I do have to recommend the new Volvos. They save so much on fuel. Really? Yeah, Freightliners, I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to because we have only been operating Freightliners, but that's interesting. I also heard that Volvos have a really great turning radius, so they're really good to use in those tight cities. Now, we don't go to tight cities. That's like part of I don't think any of our trucks have ever been to New York City. Upstate New York, yeah. And like on the way to Connecticut or Massachusetts, yeah, but never in New York City. My opinion on non-CDL hotshot versus CDL. I don't have one just because I don't know much about hotshots. Never worked with them. As far as I know, the rate per mile, I might be completely off here. So if I'm off, someone correct me. But as far as I know, the rate per mile that you get with a semi truck is going to be better. And there's not a ton of freight from what I see, and I only use the DAT load board, but I don't see a lot of freight for hot shots. Thank you, happenstance, Heidi. I'm glad. Yeah, I hope that they are helpful. I mean, I see that they are, obviously, but yeah, I'll keep doing them every Friday. It's. Where was I? Um, because I can DIY. I didn't fully understand your question. All right. Damn it. Okay, I'm going to move it a little bit down. I'm gonna hold my promise that I'm going to be reading the recent comments first. So if I skipped yours, you're welcome to ask again or shoot me an email. I just want to make sure I'm getting to everybody. Um, uh, Can I make videos how I dispatch different trucks? I mean, we only work with well, yeah, we have a flatbed. We Yeah, step decks, flatbeds, and reefers. We don't do dry vans at all at this point. I can, yeah, it's just sometimes it depends on the day because when I'm recording, you have to make it entertaining as well, right? So it takes longer to book a load, and there are days where you have to be very, very fast because when I'm doing a video while booking a load, I have to explain things and I can't just sit there staring at the load board and you guys are staring at me. So, but yeah, I'll look into that for sure. Would you buy a new truck now or wait a few months? It's an interesting question. I think personally I would wait. I would wait. Best places for power only. Guys, anyone with power only experience, where is the best place for power only? There was a time where I looked into it for a couple of days. And actually, you know what? It's funny. It was exactly in quarter 4 of 2022 when we had like a small experience with the flatbed and everything died. And I was trying to figure out what if we just do power only for a little bit. But I do not have experience in that side, on that side. Yeah, gosh, I've heard, I've seen. Hmm, doesn't bother me. Sorry, reading, trying to see questions. Hi, Brian Carp. Brian Carp. Have I ever gone on the road with any of my guys? No, I mean, I've been in a semi truck. If that's a question for me, I'm going to assume it's for me. I have been in a semi truck, of course, but it terrified me. It really, really terrified me. And yeah, I would never be able to because of the height. And yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to the point where I couldn't sit in the it was just a short drive. We were moving the truck from the dealership to a place where they were I don't remember even. It was right in the beginning. It was 4 years ago. But I remember sitting in the passenger seat and my business partner was merging onto, it was just the bobtail, merging onto the freeway. And on my side, there was a ditch and it looked so high. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see where the wheels are. And I just felt like it's going to flip into the ditch and I'm going to die. So I ended up having to sit in the back so that I wouldn't see around. um, Thank you. Every day is sunny. I appreciate it. I am good, Ray. How are you? Yeah, I agree with you. Trucks are very cheap right now, but the market cannot support new trucks right now, to be honest. I agree. Right now there is no space for additional capacity in general. And the new trucks and the prices, it's funny. Used trucks, the prices went down, but the new trucks, they did not. It's the weirdest thing. Hmm. Whoops. Errol, yes, I am. We're currently hiring reefer drivers or one reefer driver. Um, it's 65 cents per mile. I'm not going to do a whole advertisement here because it's in every video, a running line, but just a brief thing. 65 cents per mile on all miles. And we don't do any practical mile crap. I hate it. We do odometer readings. That's how we calculate the miles. And $15 per hour after 3 hours for detention. And this is regardless of whether the broker pays us, because we believe that the person actually behind the wheel is the one suffering. So yeah, and we do $150 layover, either if we can't find a load that day, and this is for 24 hours, but we do not offer benefits. But you can apply on my website. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Oh, and it is OTR, and we're hiring from everywhere in the US. It doesn't have to be California. We don't even enter California for the most part. Anyway, where was I? Ted Motley, best lanes for flatbeds. Personally, I don't like the West Coast. We do end up there all the time, but this is because that's where we're based, and it's very complicated to explain why I choose the loads I choose, but I'm going to explain it in the video tomorrow that I upload. But the best lanes, in my opinion, is the South. Stay away from Texas. Texas is dying slowly for flatbeds from what I have seen, and Midwest. But the Midwest as a whole, the relatively better markets, they change literally on a daily basis. So that's the challenge. But I have had a lot of luck in the South, Midwest. Texas, not so much, not in the past 2 months. The Pacific Northwest, sometimes, depending on the day. Mondays, no. Wednesdays, maybe, but going to a dead market. California, can't stand it because you're forced to take a load to a bad market. Or you can take a really bad rate per mile, which I do not like doing. Mm. Uh, Staring at the two monitors in the background. I know they're like, this is not, I need to change that screensaver for Rita because there is a really cool one that you like zone out. It's really awesome. No hope. That's the name. I'm not saying no hope. Hi, Miranda. What do you recommend for new authority to work with owner operators or to start with one company truck? New authority, I recommend if you are planning to open a trucking company, if you want to give yourself the best chance of success in this market, which is absolutely ridiculous right now, you have to either have a family member dispatch you so you're not paying a huge amount towards a dispatcher who doesn't care. Have a family member dispatch you and you drive, or you dispatch one truck operation, keep your expenses small. This is the best way to do it. I would not recommend hiring if you're a new authority, because brokers, they have the pick of the litter right now. They find any excuse not to give a load to new authorities. Start off with you being a one man or one woman show. This is the best formula for success in a market like this, in my opinion, if you decided that that's it, you want to come in right now. What broker do you recommend? I still stand by it. I absolutely adore Molo Solutions. Molo Solutions is a broker that I really like. R&R Express, although some people disagree with me, I really like them too, because even though sometimes we do not agree on the rate, and sometimes they will give the most horrible rate, there is this professionalism and respect with every single broker from those two companies that I have spoken to. And that is something that I appreciate very much. How many drivers can a good dispatcher handle? That's a great question, but that is a very subjective question. It depends on the person. I personally, I don't think I would be able to handle more than 5 trucks, but this is because I'm running the back office for 2 trucking companies, both of my trucking companies, and that's a lot. Some dispatchers can handle 10 trucks with no problem at all. Yeah. I'm good. Juniper, how's your day going? Oh, how's my freight going? My freight is not doing the best. I mean, surviving. I'm just I'm booking loads and dreaming about 2021 rates. When you edit your YouTube videos, I use iMovie to edit all my videos. I don't have a dry van, Harmon. I am not. Where was this question? Texas flatbed intrastate rates seem to be holding. Okay, yeah, I agree, James, for sure. Intrastate, yes, but what ends up happening is you can get a pretty decent load going from somewhere like Dallas, Texas to somewhere like Odessa, Texas, or Midland, Texas, out of which it's horrific. Yeah, so you end up going to a dead market within Texas. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for your support. What's the most expensive part of being an owner operator carrier business in your experience? Fuel, truck payments, insurance, fuel. At this point, fuel 100%. Fuel, This year, if you have a junker of a truck, maintenance is going to build up. It's going to be terrible. So be careful when buying a truck, but fuel is the number one expense. Number two is payroll. This is from my experience. Every day is sunny. Do you have any advice for new dispatchers getting clients? Send me an email. I'll send you a trick on how to do that. It's in my course as well, but I'm happy to share it with you. Just send me an email. talkabouttrucking@gmail.com. Could you interview Pete Buttigieg or Joe to see what they think about the market? No, I'm good. They would never want to do an interview. I'm actually, but that's a good question. I'm curious whether they're even aware. Do you think they're aware of what's going on? What is it like to work 24/7 knowing that you're at the very bottom of the food chain where the broker takes all the profits? It is completely fine. Honestly, I mean, fine in what way? That does not discourage me or demotivate me at all. What demotivates me or what pisses me off is I don't look at it in the food chain perspective. Couldn't care less about that. Who's where in the food chain, that can change within a second. What I do care about is the fact that I am working maybe 10 times harder today than I did 2 years ago. And this is not even to move forward, it's just to stay in the same place without kind of going back. This is frustrating for sure. Um, and it skipped. Wonderful. Back between watching the sports dissident. Who is winning? Not that I know the teams, but I have to ask. Why did you start a trucking company? My family wanted to start a trucking company, and I just wanted to help them out. I mean, I didn't want to. They asked me for my help. I was a fashion recruiter. It was a very different position, but they asked for my help, and I was happy to help. And in the process of helping, I got very curious about it. And then I got very interested in it. And when I booked my first load, I was hooked. Yoshi, you didn't miss much. We're just chatting about the industry, brokers, the market. Ross Transport. Yes, 100%. For anyone who didn't read the comment, Ross says that for everyone here, you don't have to pull loads for brokers. You can start reaching out to smaller shipping companies for direct freight. That is true. Oh, thank you. If I mispronounce, I'm sorry. It's either Karen or Karan Sandhu. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Way to improve your English, I'm definitely well, if this channel is helping you improve your English, I'm happy. Swag Papa. Do I recommend semi-power only or get a trailer? That is an excellent question. My first instinct is to tell you get a semi truck because then you have more opportunities. But then again, that wouldn't be fair because I do not have experience with box trucks, power only, hot shots, all of that. So I would say the best thing to do is my channel is pretty much all about semi trucks, but I would also compare it to other channels. I would recommend watching Toe Piglet's channel. I believe he still has videos up there. He had a hotshot business and finding different information, different channels to see how all of those compare to make a decision. I wish I could tell you, but unfortunately, semi trucks is where I'm at and I don't know much about the other equipment. I am good, Kilpel. How are you? How can I see what brokers see about my company rate review? I'm not sure I 100% understood that question, but you could like on are you asking like what brokers see? They will look at the CSA score. So if you go to FMC, what is the website? Can't believe I forgot the website. csa.fmcsa.dot.gov and enter your DOT or MC number. That's something that the brokers will look at. They'll look at your safer, and then they have their own system for reviews. Yeah, they will look at carrier 411, things like that. Stravos, I have to agree with you. Brokers are definitely not the top of the food chain. Right now, it's the shippers. um, yeah. But that hierarchy, it's not even a hierarchy. It's more of a linear thing. Shippers, if they don't have their own trucks, they're nothing without carriers. Carriers cannot do anything if they don't have shippers. Now, dispatchers and brokers are the only two optional players there. And one of those optional players is being very, very frustrating right now for the most part, although I'm sure some dispatchers are frustrating as well. But yeah, I think it's not a hierarchy per se. It's more of a, what is the other word? You know what I mean? Oh, Bashir, that is a loaded question. You know what I recommend? Can you send me an email? Because you have to consider payroll. I just sent, I think it was a week ago, this guy asked me about payroll and how it's calculated together with the state taxes and all of that. And I sent him like a 3-page email on it. So send me an email. I'm happy to answer that or point you in the right direction. But that is a loaded question for a lot. I appreciate it though. Jose, yeah, it's all about staying afloat. Um, what's the top fuel cards? Personally, I have stuck to RTS. I really, really like RTS, although there's another one called TCS, I believe. Never really got anywhere with it, but RTS is something I'm sticking to. Some people agree, some people think it's horrible. So personally, for me, it works. Why with multiple trucks do you not go after direct freight instead of spot market? I like the living, breathing market, but it's not just that. It's the fact that we can't provide consistent. We don't have enough trucks in our fleet, even though we do have multiple trucks. We don't have enough trucks in our fleet to provide consistent service. There's no way of building a relationship there. So spot market it is, and realistically, everyone will disagree with me on this. I really like the living, breathing market, even when it's this crappy. Yeah. It gives me a sense of what's going on in the bigger picture, too. Funny thing is, how do you get a trailer before a semi truck? I don't know. We got our trailer right after we picked up our first semi truck. I'm seeing, thank you, Transport King, for filtering questions, but I am seeing a lot of personal ones. So I'm going to clear the air for everyone. I was not born in the US. I was born in Ukraine. I moved to the US. I'm a US citizen. Number 2, yes, I'm married. These questions keep coming and coming. Thank you, Dissident. Have a good one. Oh, thank you, Juan. Sometimes I feel like, you know, I hear people say, or I see people say that, yes, I speak clearly. And me, when I'm speaking, I feel like it's a jumbled mess. And my pronunciation, yikes. Do you know why insurance doesn't want you to have your trucking company and brokerage under the same DOT number? Yoshi, I don't know why, but I know that most insurance companies will not even come near you if you have a brokerage MC and or a brokerage and a carrier under the same DOT or even under the same address. Swag Papa. Yeah, that's a great idea. Driving for yourself in this market, this is the best chance you have because I still get I made so many videos about this, but I still get emails from people who are looking to um, their authority, hire a dispatcher, hire drivers, get trucks, and then treat the business, their trucking business, as a way to make passive income. Not in this market, not even, I wouldn't even say it would be a good idea in a market like 2021. It has to be hands on. Jamal, I didn't fully understand your question. Bill of load. You mean bill of lading? Or Omar, great question. What's the best TMS? I don't use I mean, I built my own TMS using Airtable. So I love it. It works for me perfectly. I do have a playlist on YouTube, completely free. So you can, if you're interested, you can always build a TMS system in the same way I built it. It works great. What area is the best to be based out of? Dallas, Phoenix, or Atlanta? Excellent question. I know that Texas doesn't have state tax. Phoenix and Atlanta, I'm not sure. Texas also has relatively cheaper fuel, diesel prices. And I think, as far as I know, it's pretty friendly towards the trucking industry. I think Oklahoma is one of the friendliest, but Texas is pretty friendly. The only thing is, out of Texas right now, something happened to Texas. Flatbed loads are decreasing, not paying very well. Intrastate, yes, as someone said, they do, but you end up in dead markets in Texas. For reefers, there's nothing there. It's weird. Do you think it's possible to profit around 1,200 to 1,500 ish a truck with a driver in it per week, per month, or what? It depends. I mean, it depends on your fuel card. It depends on the state you're based in. I saw you wanted to pay 70 cents per mile, as far as I know. The question is, are you doing W-2? Because then your workman's compensation insurance is going to be based on the state you are based in. If it's in California, it's going to be through the roof. Then the state taxes, it matters where the person you're hiring is based out of. It's a lot. There are a lot of moving pieces. It's not so easy to just answer that. It depends. I wish I had a clear-cut answer for you. How is freight moving on the weekends? For flatbeds, it is not moving on the weekends. For most equipment types, right now, Fridays, as someone said, very, very difficult to book a load on Friday because carriers are panicking, trying to cover their trucks for the weekend, and it becomes a mess. So Fridays is an interesting, just prepare yourself for Fridays at the moment. I forgot who it was, I apologize, but someone said that it's better to pre-book on Thursday. And I would tend, even though I hate pre-booking loads, I would tend to agree. At the moment, it's better to pre-book on Thursdays for Friday. Hello, Christiana. Yeah, no, wait. Christina, I'm sorry. Oops. crazy you learned all this stuff in a few years. Ryan, to be fair, I was learning little by little in the first 2 years, but in 2020, end of 2021 is when I made this channel. As I started teaching, trying to teach, I started paying attention to details from my own work more. And that's when I started learning a ton, and from the community, of course. This community teaches me so much. So, yeah, I think that's where I got lucky. Is the market showing upside towards the end of this month? Not yet. I mean, what do you consider upside? There is a momentary uptick in tender rejections after, for a while it was going down there. It was really frustrating. Momentary uptick right now from 3.83% to 3.87%, way below the 4% mark that we were used to seeing over the past month or so. I don't see it yet. Not yet. Maybe during holiday season, there's going to be a little bit of a something. Damn it, it just, yikes. Where was I? What system do you use for payroll? I use ADP. They're pretty great, and they've been around for a long time, so I trust them. Wu-Wei, we only run Freightliners. What's the minimum trucks required for direct shippers to make a deal? You know what? There is no minimum. It's just about, like, I have a business card in front of me of a direct shipper in Missouri for flatbed freight for lumber. And, there was a minimum. He didn't even ask. I know that if we're ever in that area, I can call him up and say, hey, do you have any loads for me? But the thing is, building a relationship with direct shippers to the point where you don't have to focus on the spot market is hard when you can't constantly provide capacity for that shipper because you're all over the place and you don't have enough trucks to be, in multiple places. Yeah. You thought I was Armenian. I'm half Georgian, half Ukrainian, half Georgian. So that's probably why. I've heard the reason they don't like broker and trucker MC is because they think it's fraudulent, double brokering. Oh, well, that would make sense. Yeah, maybe that's the problem because insurance will run the other direction if you tell them that you have a broker and carrier under the same DOT or address or MC or what, even if it's the same phone number. Yeah. It would be considered a chameleon company. Mm-hmm. Are you planning to hire a dispatcher in the future? Possibly. The reality is the way we have structured our business, it's really a family business, right? So first it would be family members when we expand, and then, yeah, absolutely. Notice I said when we expand, not if we expand. Power of positive thinking. Now, I believe, listen, if you're able to survive this kind of downturn, you come out much stronger. As far as I know, this is the worst it has ever been. So if you're surviving right now, it was so wonderful to get that zero violence. Did I just go offline for a second? Just like this thing came out saying you're offline. Whoops. Hmm. All right, let me scroll down a little bit because again, I'm taking my sweet time here. Um, in my experience, booking loads on Mondays and Fridays is the hardest. I agree with you. I agree with you. Mondays are terrible because, especially for flatbeds, this is something I kind of realized only last week when I was filming booking that load. I was like, okay, Oregon. The last time we were near Portland, Oregon, it was a Wednesday and it was great because if you wait, yeah, you go to a dead market, but you get a good rate per mile. And then I forgot. I'm like, it's Monday. These brokers are not in a rush to ship this crap out. So they're going to hold that load at that rate. So, yeah, for sure. Bashir, Texas isn't as good as it seems. Yeah, Texas, in terms of loads, it's not great. It's really not great at the moment. I'm sorry if I skipped your question, guys. I'm just trying to keep it moving. So, um, yeah, I tried to skip questions that I answered by like someone else asked before. And if I miss it, just send me an email. I'll for sure answer or ask again and hopefully I'll see it. What's a good program for an onboarding process? I do all the onboarding myself, but I do have the Hire Safe program as well to do background checks. But everything else I do myself. Sorry, just trying to get to the questions because I see people are talking to each other here, which is awesome. Gray dog, yeah, I was offline for a second. Yeah, it just popped up there. Um, most brokers don't are to the community, especially to I mean, yeah, you know what? I something I realized when I created this channel after it grew a little bit, I realized that no matter what, there's always going to be someone that is unhappy. And something that I have learned is that I'm not a $100 bill to be liked by everyone. It would be strange. Paul. Oh my God. Yeah, I have the same experience. Motive won't stop with that darn credit card. They call me every week, and I already, yeah, even though they are our ELD provider, we do have the road facing cameras from them, but that card, they won't stop. Ross, how do you have patience for these questions? It seems everyone here is brand new, no offense. Uh, I don't know. I make it, this is fun. I mean, it's fun to answer questions because, first of all, you're helping someone. Second of all, you're learning a ton back. And third of all, it's so different from my everyday life. I feel like I'm just chatting with, to be honest, I feel like I'm chatting with friends. I'm kind of cooped up in this office for the most part. I'm living under a rock and I'm sitting here. I have Rita, of course, but we just sit here and we work and it's brokers and this and that. So this is really a kind of hanging out. Midlife trucker, excellent questions. Thought on Montana, Wyoming, Idaho markets. For flatbeds, not the markets to be. For reefers, Montana, not the market to be for sure. Same thing for dry van, but I do mention them in tomorrow's video. Thank you again, Tony. I appreciate it. In your opinion, what do you think about government regulation, deregulation for the trucking industry? This is an excellent question. Unfortunately, this is something that I started reading about because I've seen a lot of people comment about the deregulation and all of that. So, in order to answer that question with an honest opinion, I'd have to read a little bit about it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do-do-do-do. Let's see, where was I? Yes, the email is talkabouttrucking@gmail.com. Any advice for breaking the news to my wife that it's no longer 2021 and we're no longer rich? You tell me. I mean, I don't know. I am the worst person to ask this type of question. I'm the type of person, it's kind of a hereditary problem in my family. I'm trying to keep everything the same, even if I'm trying to keep an illusion of things being the same just to not hurt people around me. It's the weirdest thing. So, no, I'm not a good person to ask. Do I think the market will get back to normal based on the data I see? Based on the data doesn't tell me much about the future, right? It's only the historical data that gives me an idea of what you can expect. The problem is that this is, I call it the black swan event, right? It's so out of the ordinary at the moment. So it's pretty unpredictable. And as I said before, the soonest I think we're going to start feeling a real change. We might feel a little bit of a change during holiday season, of course. It's not going to be huge, but then through January, the middle of January, rates usually do go up, and then they crash down around the 20th of January. And I believe that the first hint of kind of recovery is going to be in quarter 2 of 2024. What happens if you can't pay monthly truck payments? Can lenders go after your house if you file bankruptcy? Can you transfer truck loan from LLC? Oof, these are interesting questions, but yeah, that was going to be my answer. Is if you're an LLC, then your personal property is protected. But that's a question for like either an attorney or a CPA. Yeah. Do you ever send trucks I-70 west of Denver? Yeah, I try not to, but like my business partner, he makes a decision to go on the I-70 instead of the I-80 because it's faster. It's just shorter miles than going all the way up through the I-80, but I don't like it. During the winter, no. During the winter, we try to avoid the I-80 as well because it always shuts down. Wait, am I talking about the right freeway here? Now I'm doubting myself. 1 second, please. Yeah, I am. I have to be. Hold on. Did I just speak out? Yeah, I-70, of course. Yeah. I was thinking I-40 for a second. Jeez. I-40 is good. My sailor language comes alive when I talk to Motive. That's hilarious. Uh, yeah. Mine comes alive when I'm talking to, you know how you get all these, especially lately, you're getting all these spam calls of, do you have any trucks available? We provide a dispatching service. And I start yelling. I'm like, you're trying to take away my job. Oh my God. It's horrible. Sometimes I have fun with it. Rita actually was looking at me like with these kinds of eyes last week. I had a lot of fun with it, but I'm not going to repeat what I said here because it's just bad. Have you ever considered to start working with Canada, Mexico as well? Not yet. The reason is oof, because of when we started and because of when we were ready to expand. And right as we were expanding, all of a sudden the market crashed. There was no room to look at any other things, like going, like doing Canada, Mexico, etc. Right now, it's just about keeping afloat, really. But maybe in the future, it depends on what the market does. If there's an opportunity to be a little bit more um, audacious, yeah, maybe. How's Florida and trucking? Florida is not a good place to go with a truck, that's for sure. Um, It is better to be a broker than to drive trucks. In what way? You mean like in terms of comfort? Oh, yeah, 100%. And right now, brokers, they have it pretty easy because they don't really have to scramble to do anything. Capacity comes to them and they have it pretty simple. They come to the office, just people rush to them for loads, they negotiate them down. That's it. But there'll come a time where it's not going to be that easy. How to improve score on Carrier Assure. Like on CS Carrier Assure. What is Carrier Assure? Should I know this? Um, oh, is that something? Oh, this is something that's used by brokers. I've actually never heard of it. Wow. I think the first thing you want to do is improve your CSA score because that is something that they look at. And in order to do that, it's just, you can request an inspection, by the way, to make sure your inspections are good. Thank you, the general trucker. Um, and thank you, Hal Pike. Do you think it's the brokers competing with each other, lowballing rates with shippers to gain business carry? Oh, 100. I love that question. Yes, because I could go on and on and on about this. Yes. So think of it this way. Carriers right now, a lot of carriers, I think less so today than it was a few months ago, but carriers right now, they are fighting to the death with each other for the cheap freight that's available, right? This is why the rates are so cheap. Same thing is happening with brokers. Brokers are fighting with each other, underbidding each other to get the load from the shipper. Shippers are the ones that are really in a position of power right now. Now, brokers, I always say this, I'm going to say it again. When this whole thing in 2021 was happening, a ton of brokers entered the industry. So now brokers are competing against each other. So basically, what's happening is a shipper has a rate, then brokers are underbidding each other. And of course, the shipper is going to want to go with the broker that is asking for the least amount of money, saves them money. And then the broker posts that already crappy paying load to the load board and takes like 30% or 40% off the top. And then the carriers start freaking out at each other. Does that make sense? Uh, Dritan, what's your opinion on the war going on in Ukraine? I'm not going to, I'm just, I try to keep this completely non-political, but I'm going to tell you this. I was born in Mariupol. So you have an idea. What ELD provider do you recommend? Well, I use Motive, which was formerly Keep Trucking. I really like their ELD. I really like their ELD because it makes IFTA easy. It makes, everything is really easy on that log, on that, log. I'm able to calculate hours in advance by looking at prior. It's just easy. The user interface is really good. So I recommend Motive. Could you tell us a little bit about your dispatch course? Sure, I'm happy to. Um, Again, as I said in the I'm just going to shorten it a little bit because I know that not everyone's interested in this dispatch course. 9 hours worth of video. It's pre-recorded. You get 1 year access. It's $160. And I teach from experience, and I teach it as if this is someone who has no idea what any of this is. So we go through the different trucks, the different commodities, how to use that in negotiations, seasonality, how to deal with issues. I talk about hours of service, IFTA, CSA scores there. Um, yeah, it's really taught from experience. Like all the examples, all the photos I showed there, taught from experience. And there is a conversation with a broker who was a complete idiot that I recorded there as well. He was a complete moron. So that was just lucky, by the way. That was just a lucky thing because I was recording for something else and I happened to record that conversation. But yeah. Oh, and I do teach how to find clients. Um, Gerald, I've heard Loves do safety inspections that are authorized to improve your safety score. Oh, that's interesting. I thought you had to like call an officer to do it or go to a wait station and volunteer. Mm. Yellow Logistics went bankrupt. They don't pay me. How can I file the rate con to pay me? Ooh. You have to find their insurance and file against their bond, but the problem is you have to check how much of their bond is left. But I would start there. Find which insurance, like how much bond they have left, which insurance. Yeah, Tony, excellent point. Look at what happened to Yellow. They took the cheap rate route. They were the cheapest carrier. And that's the only reason they got business because they were also rated one of the worst carriers. Have you noticed rates posted are 10 to 15% lower on weekends? It seems that we should be taking weekends off. For sure, you don't make a ton of money on the weekend. I also noticed that you make more money doing 1 day loads or 2 day loads throughout the week than you do on the weekend. Hmm. Were the good flatbed loads. I have had luck with Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. Louisiana is kind of dying a little bit. Texas, no. Georgia, sometimes. South Carolina, sometimes. And then, depending on the day, somewhere in the Midwest. Sometimes it's Ohio. Sometimes it's Illinois. Sometimes it's like near St. Louis, Missouri. Rob Dog. Oh, no, thank you. I'm good. I'd rather keep this YouTube channel than ever be vice president. um, what's been your experience when you put a broker in his or her place? Uh, I didn't understand the second part, but my experience putting a broker in their place, usually they back off. This is my experience because for the most part, 99% of the time when I put them in their place, I do it in a very, like, I don't yell. I have a when I'm really pissed off, which is usually when I start putting people in their place, I my tone of voice changes. So I they kind of back off and, they try to make excuses, but they won't that's not when I've heard them swear at me. I usually hear them swear when I start asking for a higher rate for the most part. Yeah. James, $1 million idea. Develop an app that auto blocks any call from anyone selling dispatching services. Yeah, I mean, I think at least my phone already has it. It shows telemarketer. But the problem is that I've had situations where it shows telemarketer, and in reality, it's a call that's I actually needed to take. So yeah, interesting idea. Um, I'm actually not behind from what I see, Transport King. I'm at the bottom of the chat, but maybe it's the glitch. Who knows? I don't know. Um, yeah. um, what states have you had luck with good rates for reefers? Midwest, and the northern states like Minnesota, Wisconsin is interesting. Um, yeah, Wisconsin, Minnesota are really interesting states. Those are the ones. And yes, please, no politics. uh, all right, let me look for something's going on with my chat, which is really, really frustrating. How long are your hours of work? Are you working 20? Yeah, I work 24/7. How do I handle it? um, Jim? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes the way I handle it, I am able to work at this pace for like 2 weeks nonstop. Then there will come a point where I will crash for 3 days and I can barely move. And then I can work like that. But it's, yeah, not the best schedule, I would say. I've had spam calls that were brokers on the load I was hauling. Yeah, see, like it's hard to filter those. I do block every single time I get a phone call from one of those dispatching services. I block that phone number, but darn, they have like a million phone numbers. Hazmat loads are paying better. I see a lot of hazmat loads lately for flatbeds, which is strange. They are paying better, of course. They are paying better, but nowhere near what they should be paying. EFS cards. I don't know what's going on with EFS cards right now. Wisconsin is good. Yeah, Wisconsin has been good for the past month, I would say, for dry vans. Dry vans, that's where the rejections are high. I just started a company and have one driver. What system do you use for payroll? I use ADP. ADP. It's a pretty great system. And the thing is, when I was choosing a payroll system, uh, they have been around for a while. So I trust them. Centurion Trucking. I'm not. No, I work mostly off the spot market. I do have some direct shippers in my contacts, but I work mostly off the spot market at the moment. Damien, I agree with you. There's a lot of hypocrisy going on if you look at brokers versus carriers. For example, and I'm going to repeat this. I made a post about it, but I have spent the last 4 years building a reputation with a particular broker. I thought we had a great reputation going. Booked a load through them, negotiated. They gave me the load. And as I was about to sign the rate confirmation, she calls me and she is like, yeah, we found a cheaper carrier, so we're removing you from the load. Now, okay, that's a crappy thing to do. And it was a spit in my face because I thought we had a great rapport going. But the worst part is if I did the same thing, if I booked a load with a broker and then called them and said, hey, dude, remove me from the load because I just found a better rate, I'd be on carrier 411 within a second. There's a lot of hypocrisy there, isn't there? Oh, hi, trucking insurance tips. Welcome. Yay, someone else uses ADP, Roderick. Yeah, they're pretty great. And they know what they're doing and they help out if there are any issues. Like I get sometimes these letters from um, the states where my guys are. So I get these letters. I'm like, what is this? I don't know what this is. I send it to the ADP. They take care of everything. I'm like, thank God. um, um, Hien, send me an email. Send me an email. Welcome to the jungle. Um, what is the most impactful single action that we as a group could take right now to affect rates in a positive manner? I mean, that is a fantastic question. In theory, if we're talking about let's say that every single person who is subscribed to this channel decides to do or agree on one thing that could positively impact. Just say no to any load that is less than $3 per mile. Say no. And if you're all in the same market, that will definitely impact the rates there. This is realistically something that we can do. Just say no, because eventually, if there's even if there's a ton of capacity, but all of that capacity is saying no, I'm not taking that load, eventually brokers and shippers will have to raise their rates. The problem is it's very hard to get everyone on the same page. Oh, hi, Sardor. Welcome. Flow, I agree with you. They do have they have a place where you can review if on DAT, at least I know you can review brokers, but no one really, there's no such thing as like broker 411 where brokers don't have access and carriers can really use it against them. And at the moment, brokers don't really care about their reputation because they know that there's more capacity than loads, and carriers, even if the broker has the worst reputation, they'll still sell the load. Hi, Ron. Welcome. It's always nice to see you here. If you cancel a load 24 hours before pickup, is it a big issue or 24 hours is okay? It depends on the broker. Um, I have never canceled. Yeah, the only time I canceled the load, no, I have, no, I don't think I've ever canceled a load. I take The thing about me is, even though, and this is exactly what I say in the video for tomorrow, even though I understand that a relationship with a broker or building rapport with a broker does not mean that now you can trust them to always give you a load, because, as I already said, that broker that I built a relationship with for 4 years just called me and said, sorry, we found someone cheaper. What it does, how did I get on this topic? Canceling the load. What it what a reputation does is it gives them less ammunition to use against you. So for me, when one of my guys is on a load, I provide 5-star service. I do everything I can to give 5-star service, which means that I'm proactive with my communication, everything, not because I think brokers are so wonderful. I don't give them a reason to say no to me. And I'm building a reputation for the future when everything turns around. um, all right, guys, let's see. Have you ever been so pissed at a broker that you fired off an email to the president of the company? No, I have never, but Rita has. Not to the president of the company. She called somewhere corporate. It was for Scotland. They were, I mean, I remember that. I did not, but she did. She is very hot tempered as well. And when you get, it takes a lot to get her to that place where she's pissed off, but when she gets there, that's it. There's nothing stopping her. I'm more like a match. I get angry and I cool down really quickly. She's not. She hangs on to that anger. She uses it to her advantage. I love it. TQL is the worst at cheap freight. For the most part, yeah. They really I saw that in Oregon last week as well. They were calling me. I mean, the rates that they to North Dakota, they offered me less than $2 per mile. To Colorado Springs, they offered me like $1.70. I was like, what is going on? TQL, get your crap together. Canceling load is just bad customer service. Correct. From both sides. I don't think, if the rate confirmation is signed, right, there is no reason that a broker or a carrier should be canceling the load unless the load is really not there or the shipper canceled the load. In that case, pay Tono. If the truck breaks down, that's a good reason. Actually, we had that a few weeks ago. My guy on the step deck, his tire went flat, so he was running late to delivery, and the broker asked me for the exact location and the receipt and photos of the fact that we broke down. This is how bad it has gotten. Yeah. Are you a member of the OIDA? I used to be. I stopped. Yeah. No, Transport King. I'm not part of the OIDA anymore. And Rita is my coworker. I think that's who. Yeah, Rita's my coworker. No, we work in the same company, of course. Melbourne, Australia. Wow. Hello. I love Australia. I've been there once. I've been to Sydney, the Gold Coast. Where is the Gold Coast? I was a kid then, but I remember the people. People in Australia, it's like they're the friendliest people ever. Always with a smile. At least that's what I remember. New Zealand, that's where I want to move. That'd be great. What's your recommendation to get brokers to start paying good rates? Um, I mean, you can't force a broker to pay more than what another carrier is ready to take it for. Or you know what I mean? The broker is always going to choose the cheapest carrier. But tomorrow I'll release a video where I talk about how I manage, like what my process is. Hmm. You got a load canceled just miles away. You know who's really good at doing that? Megacorp and Chop Tank. They're the kings of booking a load with you. And then while you're dead heading to the darn shipper and you're almost there, they say, sorry, there is no load. A lot of millionaires are moving to Australia. Really? Huh. The only thing about Australia is those box jellyfish, those huge huntsman spiders, saltwater crocs. Oh my God, those are freaky. And the white sharks, of course. And I believe they have mako sharks. Mako sharks are the most aggressive. They're like the most dangerous, in my opinion, because they're crazy. New Zealand is where Aussies go on vacation. It's beautiful. I've never been to New Zealand, but from what I have seen, it is absolutely gorgeous. I believe The Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand, right? Bakersfield, California, JP. You're not far from me. Oh, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it another 4 minutes and then I'm going to bounce because I still have to record the podcast to go with tomorrow's video. You know how I upload a podcast as well as a video on the same topic for those. Yeah. So, um, do you have a course? I do. I have a dispatching course that's 160, and I have a carrier course that's 170, both for 1 year access. Thank you again, Tony. I appreciate it. Should truck drivers be allowed to consume marijuana products? I don't think so. Look, mm, how do I feel about cannabis? I don't want to piss anyone off, but I'm going to be very honest in my answer. I, how do I explain it? I'm very old fashioned. So I don't understand it personally, cannabis being legal. I am an old fart at heart. No, really, I am. It's not even a joke. One of my, when I was actually interviewing for the fashion recruiter job way back when, the CEO was the last interview I had. And he, after interviewing me, he's like, your soul is like 1,000 years old. I'm like, bingo, for sure. Yeah, I cannot. I am old fashioned. I don't understand it. I'm against it. Sorry if anyone is okay with it, but for me personally, no, I don't understand it. Hi, Lupe from Nebraska. Mm. Yeah, I'm so curious. I should look into the trucking industry in Australia. It's actually very curious. I know you have those crazy truck trains from what I have seen. They're awesome. Um, Mercer and Landstar. Landstar, I mean, they really are double brokers for the most part. But the thing I keep saying this, the thing that I don't love about Landstar is the fact that they charge you to pay you. New York market, I'm not familiar with because we do not go to New York. Let's see. Weed was fun in high school. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I have tried it, but yeah, some people just have a bad reaction to it. I'm one of them. I'm not. I'm not. I'm an old fart. I don't know how to party. This is my party, Diet Coke. I don't drink. I don't. I drink coffee, Diet Coke. Sometimes once a week, water. Not kidding. It's horrible, but I'm very by the book. It's kind of boring, but I like it that way. Um, all right, I'll do two more questions. Then I'm going to go. Mark, I'm good. How are you? Low rates and rising fuel costs. How do carriers stay in business? Yeah, they're not. That's the thing. The amount of carriers is decreasing. It really is decreasing every single week. The week last week it was only 159 carriers net lost, I believe. The week before it was almost 1,000 in a week's time. Yeah. All right. Last question. Diet Coke will kill you. Diet Dr. Pepsi's the bee's knees. You know what? Diet anything is bad for you because that sugar, I mean, that, what is it called? That stuff, that's a carcinogenic. But I'm on keto. I haven't had sugar in 6 months. I need something, you know? All right. One last question. Let's see. Bum, bada, bum, bum, bum. How are things going for a flatbed? Things are going, I mean, they're manageable. They're definitely, you can feel the slow decline. We got into flatbed, like really got into it in April of this year. And since then, it's like slowly declining. Yeah. So that's it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. This was really fun. I really do feel like I'm hanging out with friends, acquaintances. It's really, really awesome. So I appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday. Damn it, it's Monday tomorrow. And I am going to see you guys in the next video. And thank you to Transport King again for keeping everything clean. Bye, guys.